Hi, I'm Maddie. Welcome back to my channel, and today I tried painting some Polaroids. So let's just go ahead and get in with the vid. For this project, you'll need some supplies. Obviously, you'll need some bad Polaroids. That's what this whole thing is based off of. You also want some painter's tape so you can mark off the top, bottom, and sides to keep that oh so pretty Polaroid border. Some disposable plates for mixing paint. Sadly, we don't really want to use actual plates for this. And obviously you'll want some paint and paint brushes. Here I'm just using some basic craft paint that you can find pretty much anywhere, Walmart, Michael's, wherever. Same thing for the brushes, which I forgot to show. So to start off, you want to put the painter's tape over the bottom, sides, and top of your Polaroid. This part is so crucial. I cannot emphasize enough how important this step is. You want to make sure that the tape is very tight around the edges, otherwise things will not work out. You will see later on in the video why this is so important. It'll save you a lot of trouble, headache, and extra steps. Just making sure this is tight and clean, guys. Alright, so you want to pick a color to do the background with, and be sure you're covering your work area. Then you just, go in and paint your background. Be warned that this will take several coats to get it nice and thick so you can't see the Polaroid behind it. Obviously, the higher quality paint you have, the better things are going to go for you. But don't be discouraged if you have to do several coats. Here I'm going in for my second coat. And with this particular paint, things worked out fine. But you'll see with the different Polaroids that I do, it takes different amounts of coats to get it covered. Here, this is a cheaper brand of paint. So, spoiler alert, this orange color never worked out. It never covered up the background at all. I just gave up on it after I was, putting the freaking 7th coat on it. Now will be a good time to mention something that pretty much all painters are aware of, and that is gesso. If you're not familiar with gesso, it is a sort of thicker white paint that might be put on a canvas to brighten it up or cover up something that has previously been on the canvas. I tried gesso on Polaroids, not in this video. I tried it after I filmed this video, and I thought I'd let you guys know how it went. So, if you let the gesso dry thoroughly, and I mean very thoroughly, as in an hour or two, then it'll work and make the process go a lot smoother, as in you only have to do one background coat. And if you do not let the gesso dry completely, then you'll have issues when you try and paint the background coat and then paint designs on top of it, and it just becomes a huge mess. It's just personal preference if you guys were thinking about trying gesso. The next little bit is just me painting the extra background coats on, so let's roll through this real fast. It is finally time to start doing some designs on this purple one. I decided to attempt a little sunflower daisy flower type thing. So here I'm just taking a small brush and yellow paint and doing the flower on top. It's very important to making sure that your background is thoroughly dry before attempting the design on top. Logic will tell you if the background is still wet, it's going to be a lot harder to paint the design on top. If you'd like to speed up the process, I would recommend using a hairdryer on a low setting. But frankly, if you're using craft paint, it's going to be drying pretty quickly. And again, you're probably going to have to do several coats on your design to making sure that it sticks out and stands out, unless if your background is a lighter color than the design you're putting on top of it. For the black background, I decided to do a space theme. So to achieve the star look, I just took a toothbrush and stuck it in white paint and then flicked going vertically down the brush. It's very important that you don't go horizontal or it'll just make a mess, but vertical, and this creates a bunch of little splatter paint that resembles stars and it looks super cute. I recommend testing this out before doing it on your Polaroid if this is your first time doing it so you don't make a big mess. On the light blue Carolina one, I decided to do some clouds. To achieve the look, I used a small brush to outline the cloud and put paint inside of it. And then I took a sponge to dab on it and create some texture inside of it and create more of a wispy, whimsical look. Here I go adding yet another coat of orange on top of this, and I wish I just given up because it was very obvious that the paint was getting under the tape and it wasn't thickening up, but I was very persistent. The pink also took a lot of coats, but in the end the pink background worked out. I just think with the lighter colors it definitely would be worth the time to put the gesso on it, but I really wasn't thinking about the gesso when I initially embarked upon this little fun project, so just consider that if you're wanting a lighter background. Here I am putting the second coat on my sunflower daisy thingy-mabobber. Again, the extra coats are just going to make it stand out better and look a lot cleaner than if you were to just do one coat. I just highly recommend this, and I think it creates a more polished piece. I contemplated adding some silver puff paint on my space themed one to do a moon, but I was practicing on the plate trying to make a crescent moon, and none of the ones that I did really turned out that cute, so I decided to go for a white hand painted moon, which this turned out pretty decent, and I'm actually really happy with the way this looked, and arguably looks better than any silver puff paint moon would ever look. Now I'm just adding a second coat of white to my clouds. I did want some of the Carolina blue to peek through and make it look realistic, but one coat just wasn't opaque enough for my taste. So here I am just adding in that extra white paint, but I do go back with the sponge to make sure that I don't lose any of the texture I originally had. Back to the sunflower daisy thingy. I mixed up a light orange color that I wanted to blend into the petals to give it some nice undertones. Looking back on this, I should have done it when I did the second coat of yellow to make blending the paint a lot easier, because it was very difficult to blend the paint, and honestly it did not turn out the way I wanted it to, and it looked a lot better before I did this step, but I think if done at the correct time this would have been a nice touch. Moving on to the pink Polaroid, I decided to do something abstract because abstract art is my thing. So I took some white paint and bubble wrap to create this super fun textured background. I just love that, honestly. It's my favorite thing ever, abstract art is. Here I decided to peel off the tape from the orange one. At this point, I had just given up on it turning out good. And as you can see, the tape job on this one was horrendous. And I'd put about 8 coats of paint on it at this point. I just realized that the taping job needed to be a lot stronger on future iterations of this, and I did not need to use that orange paint anymore. That is for sure. Then it was time to remove the tape from the Polaroids that I had actually painted on and done designs on. And honestly, the taping job on these wasn't the best, but I was able to take the end of my paintbrush and scrape away the paint from the edges to make it look a lot cleaner than it actually turned out. I would highly recommend this for ones where it's not that bad and the paint scrapes off easily. It may or may not scrape off, it just kind of depends on when you try and scrape it off. If it's completely dry, it's going to come off a lot better than if it's a little wet. The edges on this one were honestly so nice. There was that one little bump, but it scraped off perfectly, so you can't even tell now. This is definitely the most nerve-wracking part, because at this point you've created a piece of art that you really like and you're just counting on the tape doing its job, and it's just so nerve-wracking. Thank you for watching today's video. If you liked it, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Comment down below some more videos you'd like to see from me, and be sure that you're subscribed and have the bell turned on so you can be part of the hashtag M&M squad. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!